Well, good morning everybody, it's great to be with you. We are waking up well together. Today it's the 10th of July. We are continuing in our series as a church on the holy habits, and this week we're thinking about silence and solitude. And so I don't know about you, but I love to turn to Habakkuk in the morning to get me going. And we are in Habakkuk chapter 2 and verses 18 to 20 today. He actually has quite some significant stuff to say into the discipline of silence and solitude. And this is what he says. What good is an idol carved by man, or a cast image that deceives you? How foolish to trust in your own creation, a God that can't even talk. What sorrow awaits you who say to wooden idols, "Wake up and save us." To speechless stone images you say, "Rise up and teach us." Can an idol tell you what to do? They may be overlaid with gold and silver, but they are lifeless inside. But the Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth be silent before him. Let all the earth be silent before him. The Old Testament prophets are often very rude about man-made idols. He's being very sarcastic, Habakkuk, about this. And in fact, in this passage already, in this chapter, Habakkuk has already addressed the folly of people who are greedy and people who are violent and people who are drunkards. And now he turns to people who put their trust in images or in kind of created objects, in idols. An idol essentially is anything that comes in our affection ahead of God. So something that we put our attention or affection to that isn't God can and has the ability to become an idol. And he says, if you're an idolater, if you're someone that goes for these idols, then you effectively treat an inanimate object as if it has life and intelligence. I don't know about you, but let's try that one again. We treat inanimate objects as if they have life and intelligence. Perhaps we do. But we're talking, aren't we, about silence and solitude, and often one of our biggest battles is against digital distractions like the iPhone, for example. And as I say, the Bible is like, these idols, people put so much hope in them. You place your trust in them. You look for them for solutions, for answers, for wisdom. In fact, often people will turn to idols for salvation, for a way out, for them to feel better about themselves and about life, and to give them hope, to give them advice. Also, sometimes an idol is an easier option, isn't it? It's an easy thing to turn to than to turn to ourselves, perhaps, or to the real God. Do they get us off the hook? But the contrast is this. It says that God is alive in his temple. Verse 20, the Lord is in his holy temple. We're talking about a living God here. We're talking about a God who interacts with you and with me in the most amazing ways. And it's a living relationship, isn't it? And our God offers us real counsel. He will speak when you speak to him. When you're silent before him, the Lord won't be silent before you. Those are the best times to hear the still small voice of God. And so our advice is in chapter 20, let all the earth be silent before him. That's the most sensible approach sometimes before the living God. Be silent before him. Let's take away those props that we use, even those digital distractions perhaps. I know it can be hard, but it's something that you and I can build up and practice, isn't it? And that's why they're called holy habits. We go over and over until we get a bit better at them. And the reward is that the Lord is in his temple. When we make that space, when we stop, when we engage with silence and solitude, when we don't turn to man-made inanimate objects for attention or for inspiration, we find that God is alive and desiring our attention and our love, and he gives it back to us. So today and this week, I bless you to engage again with silence and with solitude.